All right, so the Sakai interface. For most of you that are could be teaching, I think we have half staff and half faculty. This might be the interface that you feel most comfortable with. We gave the instructions to put Zoom in Sakai, schedule your meetings, and come to Sakai and have your students come to Sakai in order to meet you in your meetings. So for example, here's a recurring meeting that you might have something similar in your Sakai site. If you haven't noticed before, there's this row of different areas of this site, a list of the previous meetings, a way to get to your personal meeting room. And you may or may not have figured out that's a great place to have office hours. You can turn on a waiting room, so only one student at a time can be let into your office hours, so you don't have any privacy issues. And then the last is cloud recordings. If you have been recording your sessions, which we hope you are, so students who can't make it live can watch it later, that's where your students can come in and do that. So this particular interface is great for office hours, and it's great for running your live Zoom sessions with your students. We're going to learn it's not so great for doing other things, like scheduling meetings with colleagues for departmental meetings or with your TAs. So the next one is the desktop application login. So when you first downloaded Zoom or opened Zoom, it probably prompted something that said like, download application, and you may or it says like launch in a browser, and you were like, forget this, I'm just going to launch in a browser. You should probably go back and make sure you have this desktop application available to you on your computer. It's good practice to be able to get in here. The one problem that shows up is that people try and log in through this sign up area. You really need to do the sign in with SSO. That's been put out in a lot of documentation, but it's totally easy to miss. Once you click on that, it asks what company you're with or your domain name. It has some technical term, just type in Duke, and then you'll get your regular net ID. So when you click this button right here, new meeting, that is not a way to get to your previously scheduled meetings that you might have in Sakai. That will just make you have an instant meeting, which means no one's going to be there. You have to send them an email or type in their name in order to invite them to your instant meeting. And that's usually used in a work environment where you're like, hey, let's meet on Zoom right now and we can talk about this. This second button here, schedule a meeting, that's how you could go in and put a reoccurring meeting. It would not be for your Sakai students. Again, it's not in a location where your students would automatically see it. You'd have to copy the invitation to that meeting and send it out to everyone for anyone to know that you're having that meeting. And that was another problem we've seen with faculty. They tried to schedule something using the desktop or the web version instead of directly in Sakai, and then they couldn't find each other. People are going to the Sakai site instead of this thing. So if you're teaching, try to go through Sakai to schedule your regular course meetings. All right, and then the last one's on the desktop application is if obviously you want to join a meeting, or if you're in a meeting and someone allows you to share your screen. All right, the third place is the web interface login. It has all of the same functionalities as the desktop login, but it also has a greater control of your meeting and recording settings. So this is the prime place to go if you need to create settings that are for all of your meetings. And again, warning, if you hit host a meeting right now, that's an instant meeting. No one knows it's happening. So if you want to come in here to schedule a meeting to share with people, you're going to do sign in. You're also going to sign in to change your settings. When I come into the web interface, that's duke.zoom.us, the places you're going to go, we landed a profile where you can upload a picture. You'll see that some of us have pictures when our camera is off, and some of us just have a name. That's where you could get that picture to show up when your camera is off instead of just a name. So the first tab is meetings. Meetings are where you can go and schedule a meeting, take the invitation and send it to people, or you can go to your already scheduled meetings and start them. I'm skipping over webinars because you're probably not going to be super users. We also don't have that many webinar licenses, but if you think it's something you need, you can contact us and we'll tell you yes, no, maybe. So the next one we're going to is recordings. That's where you can find the recordings you've already done, as well as do settings as far as what you want recorded. And we'll talk about that in more detail in just a bit. And the last one is settings across the board for all of your Zoom activities. So how do you send Zoom invitations? They make it so easy to use, it's hard. So the first one, if you're using the Sakai interface, you can just send the students to Sakai. They can click on Zoom and they'll be able to join your meeting. Second, you can schedule using a schedule functionality in whichever login you're using and send an email invitation. You'll see somewhere in there it said copy the invitation and you can email it to the people you want. The next one, if you want to get another level of complication, if you use Outlook Calendar or Google Calendar or Yahoo Calendar, you can have a Zoom plugin so you can get everything done in one fell swoop. So you can open an Outlook calendar invite. If you have the plugin, there's like a little Zoom icon so you can automatically add a Zoom meeting. And then you can put in the people that you want to invite to this event and send it all at once. But don't feel like you need to be that power user if you don't need it. And then the last one are the instant invitations. Remember where I said if you say host meeting or start meeting, no one knows you're there. That's where you would be in the meeting itself. And there's an invite button at the bottom. And you could go up and send people emails or copy the invitation to that instant meeting to send to them.